Have you ever seen anything like this?
Quite frankly, I have not. These are an unusual turn of events, as you've just summarized. It's unusual to have NIH, NIAID, call out a sponsor, in this case Astrazeneca, about potentially using outdated information, calling them out in public, and then the company having to rapidly reissue a more updated analysis. It is unusual.
My other question, I guess, is just why the FDA needs to approve this drug. And I know more than 70 countries have already approved. It's being used in the UK and Europe and India and many other places. But we've got 3 approved vaccines, more supply coming online. Novavax's data looks good. Why at the FDA do we need the AstraZeneca vaccine? Why is it such a priority that we get this U.S. data and this shot approved?
Well, thank you for that. Let's be clear. I mean, this pandemic is far from over. You've highlighted some very positive developments, and we'd love to see that trend continue. But globally, there's a very serious need for more vaccines and more vaccine supply. And of course, as a member of the advisory committee and ad hoc voting member, we bring an open mind to the process. We don't convene with the agenda that we have to vote in favor of an authorization. We look at all the information about safety and efficacy, and vaccines are something you give to healthy people, so they better be safe. And then we give an advisory vote, and in the end, FDA decides, but we advise them. So it's not like we're gathered with the agenda that we must vote in favor. That said, there are some attractive features about this vaccines with all the irregularities you highlight. It doesn't require deep freezing, makes it more practical for rural areas, right? And there does seem to be evidence that it's effective. I'll keep an open mind. I'll wait for the final version of the briefing documents, so most up to date. But that's what's being reported, and it's being reported that there's safety there. But again, I'll keep an open mind, and I'll judge the briefing report once it's released.
Dr. Levy, regardless of sort of what comes out in terms of whether there was inaccuracies on the latest submission from AstraZeneca or not, how rare is it for an organization like the NIAID to be public about their concerns in the way that they were this morning? I ask, of course, because clearly there are already questions about the safety and efficacy of this vaccine, whether they're legitimate questions or not, particularly in Europe, and the sort of trust in the vaccine is very low in some of those countries already. Should they have taken that into account and just said to people like you, beware of this, make sure you read into these details, but not make a public statement like this until you have absolute definitive answers?
Yeah, what you imply seems like the wise course from where I'm sitting. Again, I'm not aware of the highly unusual turn of events over the past day with NIAID calling the company out, the sponsor out. I'm not aware of a similar situation in the past. So this is very unusual. And I'm sure that people at AstraZeneca now are reflecting on how they might do this better moving forward.
Just to follow up on that, I mean, again, even if there's an error there and the actual percentage efficacy should be lower than was reported initially yesterday, overall, is this vaccine safe? Is this vaccine effective? Way more so than perhaps any of us would have dreamt 6 months ago. And therefore, should that have been the only headline that has been reported until a final decision is made?
Yeah, again, I have to suspend an opinion until I see the briefing documents, the final briefing documents. And as you know, Wilfred, we have an excellent process here in the U.S. Those briefing documents are eventually made public. So any American can download them and look at the same information I will look at and the other committees members will look at. And once they're available with the most up-to-date analysis, then I will form my opinion on safety and efficacy, and it'll be based on that opinion that I will vote, and a full day of public deliberation, right? So I've not yet received the updated documents. They're not even available yet, as you highlight, and so I am bringing an open mind, and I'm not assuming one thing or the other. It is potentially an important vaccine, and I'd like to see what the final briefing documents look like.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.